The Bible is an assemblage of literary inspirations of God to people.
The Biafran War, 2 million people died. A lot of people were praying to God. Nothing happened.
I was to hold a program. It was a film program, and the gen got back. Couldn't see a generator. I went. My spirit just told me, go there and pray for the gen. I'm not a pastor, so I just went there and I said, gen, in the name of Jesus, walk. I left and I told someone, go and turn it on. They turned on the gen. We used it for the 3 hours program. After the program, when they turned it off, the gen didn't come up again. I have lost my wallet on 3 occasions. I'm speaking on camera and this is global. I lost my wallet on 3 occasions, and on those 3 occasions, I said, God, please let someone pick up my wallet, take out my card and call me to come and pick my wallet, and let everything in the wallet be intact. On those 3 occasions, it happened like that. I picked it up. I called on a God. So it is not by what I have read. It is by what I have experienced and what I have felt.
Back then, people will gather a man and his family, a black man and his family, and a man will stand like this, and somebody will come and prize your son and take him. Somebody will prize your wife and take her. Do you know how humiliating and emotionally traumatic that type of thing is? That is what happened in our country. They demonized our fathers' traditions. You see, Africans are the only people that do not have identity.
Hello, guest. Welcome to another episode. Very interesting and exciting episode of the PowerCast. You know what we do in PowerCast? This is where we talk about life issues, navigating the intricate relationships between people, politics, and policies. My name is Solomon with an X. You know, I come with a little bit of juice here and there. Today, we're going to be talking about something very interesting. Yes. Very interesting. You know what we do in PowerCast? We bring the unusual topics. That's what we do. Today we'll be having something we call conversation with the atheist. So we have a guest who says he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in the existence of God. So we're going to have a broad, unrestrained, unrestricted, no hold barred conversation about being an atheist and what it means to be an atheist. So listen and enjoy as I have my guest introduce himself. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Cyprian Jacob Werema, and I'm a software developer, and like you said, I'm an atheist, yeah.
No, not like I said. You should say it with your chest.
Yeah, I am. But, you know...
No, say, I am an atheist, not Solomon. You say it.
Yeah, I'm an atheist, but...
This is what you do. Introduce yourself with all your names, and now say, I am an atheist.
My name is Cyprian Jacob Werema, and I'm an atheist.
So we're going to start on that note. Your name, you have 2 names that I'm going to use to start the conversation. Cyprian and Jacob. Mm-hmm. And you're an atheist.
Yep.
Is that not contradictions on its own?
No, not at all. It's not.
So you have Jacob. Jacob is what?
Jacob is a biblical name.
Cyprian is what?
Cyprian is an English name.
That has origin in biblical and Christian history.
I'm not sure.
Yes, it does. If you do your research, I did. Okay. So Cyprian has Christian. That's why there's something called Saint Cyprian. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's someone called Saint Cyprian.
Yeah.
It is a name that has Christian origin, even if it may not have Christian meaning because it's from Cyprus.
Yeah.
So I think it was about the first Christian who was from Cyprus. That's how the name came about. Mm-hmm. Yes. So Saint Cyprian is a Christian. Then Jacob is what?
Jacob, they say, is the father of all nations, something like that.
So it has origin to God, even though not Christianity. So being an atheist, what does it mean to be an atheist that bear Christian and spiritual names?
Yeah. So the thing is, by default, like being an atheist, atheism is like the default state of every human being. You get? So it's, how do I even put it? It's like a model. You get? Let me try and make it somehow. It's like a model. You know, the algorithms that make up a model.
Hold on. Okay. In as much as I understand algorithm as an IT person, our guests don't understand what algorithms are.
Okay.
So you should explain with rather simple analogies, so that everyone would understand. No algorithm, no model, just a simple thing that everyone would understand.
Okay, so atheism is like the default state of man. You understand? It's just your default state. The moment you're born, from sperm, you turn to the first form of human being. You don't know anything. When you're born, there is no name, there is no identity. You don't have, if there's a name, you don't have name, you don't have a passport. So the default state, you are like a blank space. So if wherever you're born, your geography determines your belief system. A lot of people are going to say, no, it's not a lie, it's a lie. Oh, I was born, I'm this because I believed. That's what you are telling yourself. But when you realize it, when you come to the realization of it, the reality is that everything about your environment is what forms you. And that is how every human is supposed to be.
So I understand the environmental factor and the anthropological influence of growth on everything. I understand
Exactly.
that. However, being an atheist is the total belief in the non-existence of a superior being which we call God. Now, what you have explained is religious influences and all of that. Because if you are born in northern Nigeria, there's a tendency, if it is the area that is dominated by Muslim, there's a tendency that you would be a Muslim.
Exactly.
If you're born in southern Nigeria, that is dominated by Christians, there's a tendency you'll be a Christian. If you're born in the Indian part that is dominated by Hindus, there's a tendency that you'll be a Hinduist. Now, that is religion. That is not atheism. There are people that are Christians and have nothing to do with Christianity, with Islam, but they believe in God. Islams don't believe in Christ, but they believe in God. It's a total different conversation when you say that you don't believe in God. Believing in God and not believing in God is what an atheist is. So are you saying that you don't believe in the existence of God, or you are saying that you don't believe in Christianity?
Okay. So even in the atheist community, we always
You guys have a community?
yes, there's we've it's now that everybody has doubled down. In the beginning, it was like a movement. It was, that was like,
What do you call the beginning?
we were like humanists. We had groups. You understand?
What's the beginning?
The beginning. No, like the beginning of us having to come to the realization that everything is being we were all being conditioned. You understand? So we're having this conversation because how I became an atheist, funny enough, is from just argument. Is by just
So you were confused?
not confused.
You know that thing that will say, I have been able to confuse you that there is no existence of God. So you were confused that there is no existence of God.
No, I wasn't confused. Now, what happened is, truth is, there's a way. It's just like somebody coming and saying, Gary can be taken with this. Now, there's a cultural.
Remember, you have not answered my question.
Which is,
The question is, are you an atheist that do not believe in the existence of God, or you don't believe
Exactly.
in religion?
I was
so
coming.
which
Exactly.
of them?
That's what I'm
Because there
coming
are two
to.
different conversations.
Exactly. Even you see people kind of box atheists in the same place. We disagree a lot. A whole lot of us don't agree. Like I have friends that are religious people more than friends that are atheists. Because some of us, they get so angry, they just, there are the fanatics there as well that believe that, what Darwin said. Evolution is a theory. Even in our argument, evolution is a theory. Creationism is a theory. People try to make it fact. It's not a fact. It's a theory. You understand?
If you answer my question, we're going to go to that. Answer my question
That's what
first.
I'm saying.
Then we'll go to creation being a fact and not a theory.
So, the type of atheist that I am is it?
you guys have types of atheism.
Yes. It's not like atheism is not. There's no rule. There's no belief pamphlet like you have where you read. There's nothing. It's just, that's why I call it the default state. You understand?
No, so I know there is something called free thinkers.
Exactly.
Free
They are all
thinkers,
part of it.
thinkers, the certified free thinkers are not atheists, because free thinkers believe atheism is, get the word right, unless you're not getting your qualification right. Get the word right. Free thinkers are people that believe in the existence of certain supreme beings, but in their mind they don't recognize them. They believe in themselves being superior beings that have the ability to do what they want, think what they want, and be what they want. That's why they are
I want
free
to ask you
thinkers.
something. Are you a free thinker?
I am a literate, intellectual, well-read Christian.
Okay.
So, which means I can have broad conversations with free thinkers. I can have broad conversations with real atheists. I can have broad conversations with people of various and varying religious obligations and beliefs.
You said real atheist. Actually, there's no fake atheist.
You have not been able to convince me between what you are believing. Is it that you don't believe in the existence of God, or you
Exactly.
don't?
See,
Because your explanation to me
Yeah.
is the what's it called? Is the influence of religion over people in a particular environment.
Exactly.
That's your explanation. That's not atheism.
So I'll drive you to where I am now. You understand? Because the human mind, like myself, have evolved. You understand?
We evolve a lot.
Exactly. As an atheist myself, I started from being an agnostic. You understand? And then I started being a free thinker, because you can't just abandon. You know how deeply rooted I was as a Christian. I was deeply rooted as a Christian, but then I am somebody that my brain is always sparked by knowledge. So I couldn't just leave Christianity because it was a debate I was fighting, I was defending, until every armor started breaking down. I was like, okay, because in the Bible, this thing is saying this thing here, and then it's contradicting itself here, and I was like, okay, and they started showing me a whole lot of things.
The Bible is not a literature.
It's to me, you understand, I see it as a normal book.
That's why it was confusing to you.
It's not confusing. I've been a Christian all my life. You see, the problem
you,
is that
you just explained.
Wait.
That
the problem.
You would read this part. There's another part contradicting to it. When you read literature, it is expected. When you read literature, it is expected that the introduction should have a connection to the middle of the story. That's the body of the story. The body of the story should have a connection to the conclusion of the story. That is what makes a literature, that when you start from chapter 1 and is a literature that has 13 chapters, at the end of the 13th chapter, there should be a connection to it. That's why I started by correcting you that the Bible is not a literature that Genesis 1 is connected to Revelation. No, it's not a literature. The Bible is an assemblage of literary inspirations of God to people. What we hold as the Bible is what the Council of Bishops, as it were, came together.
They are called the Council of Nicaea, and they selected that
came
few
together
books
and they picked 66. No,
and
everything has reasons. In their and the limitation of knowledge, no knowledge is absolute. They told themselves that these are the 66 books that is ripe and ideal, that should be the manuscript for Christianity, as it were. Now, if you are an intellectual and someone who wants to grow deeper than the 66, it is left to you to do your personal research, to gain more knowledge, if you can control the knowledge, because knowledge can either destroy you or make you. Like you said, you were once a Christian and you now got into some knowledge, and today I don't even know if you're an atheist, because you've not still convinced me by answering the simple question: are you an atheist? Not someone who does not believe in Christianity. Are you an atheist? An atheist does not believe in the existence of God. If you can answer this question, we're going to move on that direction.
Yes, I don't think there is, like, let me, I'm trying
to be straightforward.
No,
don't be political. Do you believe in the existence of God?
I don't want people to cancel me.
No, don't worry. This is PowerCast. Even if people cancel you, nothing will happen.
Yeah, there's actually no God.
This
There's nothing like God and Satan.
Okay,
there's nothing like God and Satan. Let me just be. Yeah,
so yes, that's the essence of the conversation. Don't beat around the bush. Don't beat around the bush. Let's go straight forward. So you have answered. There is nothing like God
and Satan.
Yes. Fine. So if there is nothing like God and Satan, how do you think babies are formed?
Okay. So This conversation, that's why I say I disagree a lot too with my fellow atheists. You understand? Like I said, evolution is a theory. When you look at anything, it looks designed. And I know that everything is designed. But is it designed by design, like somebody sketching? Or is it designed by evolution? You understand? Or is it designed by adaptation? You understand? Because when you look, I'll give many instances. I'm just saying all these theories because, even Darwin was actually going for a missionary journey when he started seeing all those things and be like, this thing looks like it's too like this. Why is it like this? He started observing them, and all of a sudden he realized that this thing cannot just be from somebody that is a higher being. You mean? Because if we're even talking about a higher being, I know we'll get to that place, and I will clear you on that too. But what I'm trying to say is the design. When you look at the design, we always want to understand this design because there's something. We are like a pale blue dot in our universe. We have over billion of universes, and we are just one. And our planet, our planet is just very small, but it is us. Okay, mosquitoes are almost 4 billion years. Humans are just like 200 million years in existence. Mosquitoes are older than us in this entire existence. But they've not, most of these things have not come to try to understand the world. Our problem is that we are children, humans are too small to try, but we've tried, you understand? We've tried to observe. We've observed what is happening
go back
around.
to the question I asked.
So
how do you think
all of these things were
how do you think
children
come into the world and are formed?
We
have started with the fact that you say, not a fact. We have started by you saying that there is no God, there is no heaven, and there is no hell.
Yeah, there's no Satan. Yeah.
So now there's no Satan. Now,
yeah.
I just asked a simple question. How do you think a child is conceived? A child is grown in the belly of the woman. A child is born. A child grows to be a man. What do you think happens in all of those processes?
What I think happens is simple biology. It's out there. It's not only us that grow in the same form. Elephants, from sperm to living organism to everything, and then you grew. It's a process that has always been there.
You think that the process was automated on its own?
Exactly. Now, this is where the problem is. Creation says, somebody comes and says, let there be light. He says, he takes clay, makes somebody, takes his rib and makes his companion. And then the entire explanation of, procreation was not even, the science behind it, in the Bible, there's no science behind it. So, modern day, not even modern day, long time ago, then people were started observing, okay, it's actually a sperm, and then there is an egg, and then this one gets fertilized and all of these things. You understand? So that's as simple. See, in a nutshell, that's as simple as that thing is. Now, we've all come to see that process. This entire process, how it came about, is more than, it can be down to zillions of years. So if we want to really understand this process, we will never, that's what I tell my fellow atheists, we will never. The only thing you can do is to wake up and say somebody made it, because you don't want to observe it.
So you mean that in the whole of millions of years, nobody has been able to observe how this process happened?
We only have seen the one that comes from sperm. You understand? You see, before we didn't even know it was sperm. You just know that, okay, the first people that had sex, can you even explain how it happened? Then the person, got pregnant, and then now we are saying that your water broke. Who observed the breakage of water? You understand?
You are getting the point.
That's what I'm saying.
But you are not getting the point.
No. I know what you're trying to say, but I'm saying you can only observe from where you have seen. Before,
so what you are saying is, from the years, nobody has been able to observe who makes a baby, whether it is the baby of an elephant, the baby of a cat, the baby of a human, the baby of a dog, who makes the baby come into the world and grow. So nobody has been able to understand how that happens.
Who has done it?
What?
Okay, let me ask you, who has done it?
I am not an atheist. I'm not an atheist.
Yeah. So that's how
I believe in God, and I believe God does it because I have seen it.
That's
So I'm not an atheist. So that's why I'm asking you. So
Exactly.
if you claim a thing, it is your responsibility to defend your claim.
I'm not claiming it. What I'm only saying.
No, you have claimed that there is no God.
Yes.
There is no devil. There is no heaven.
That I know for a fact.
And there is
It's not
no
a claim,
hell.
I know that for a fact. Yes.
Have you died before?
No, I've not died.
Okay, so there is something I usually tell people. I don't believe in when we say here that people die. I don't believe that people die. I believe that people transition.
Okay.
Yes, I believe that people transition. So when you leave this plane, you know that you go to another plane. Do you dream?
Yes, I do dream.
So when you dream, you see yourself.
Yes.
What version of that is yourself?
What you see, the problem is people.
It's not a problem. Just answer me.
What version
What
is that?
version of you is that? That
It's
you see
still
in
my
the dream?
imagination at play. That's the only
So
time.
hold on. So your imagination creates you.
Yes. Everything that is happening.
Hold on. Your imagination creates you. Your imagination creates realistic scenarios.
Yes.
Even things that you have never imagined before.
There is nothing.
Do you know that there are dreams that you would have and it comes to pass? And you see
Yes,
the reality.
yes.
So
This
is it
happens.
is it your imagination that after your imagination has created that in your dream, then your imagination will now come to the reality and make that happen?
Now, this thing, I like this question because at the time, that's why I said, if you observe things, if you see humans, we think we are not limited, but we are just limited. Now, let me explain this thing. There's something called do you know what is happening to us is just reoccurrence? You understand? No matter where I go in this Port Harcourt, it's still just the same circle of things that I'm seeing. Now, if the first time I will travel to Europe, to me, is my first time, but it's not a new place. I don't know if you're getting it. Somebody has been there. Whatever will happen to me there, has actually happened to someone. So what I'm trying to explain is, every time you're dreaming, your brain, your imagination is still built around the things you know. It's not going outside anything you know. No. If you see an alien,
the explanation I gave to you is with the things you don't know.
What?
So, for example,
give me an example.
For example, you have never driven a Range Rover before. Never.
But you know that there's a Range Rover.
But have you driven it?
That's what I'm saying, but you still know that there's a Range Rover. You're not seeing anything inside of the tissue.
No. Knowing and driving are two experiences that are very different. Have you driven a Range Rover before?
Yes, I've driven it.
You've driven it?
Yeah.
Have you driven a Camry before?
Camry, yes.
Are they the same experience?
No.
So you see that there are different experiences.
Yeah.
Now you are in a dream. You have not driven a Camry before. Then in your dream, you are driving a Range Rover. Then you now come out, wake up. Coincidentally, you find yourself driving the Range Rover. Are you saying that it is your, what did you call it? Your imagination that had never felt the practical experience of a Range Rover that made you drive the Range Rover in your dream?
Okay. Now, I understand what you're saying, but that's why I tell you that it's reoccurrence of things that is happening. Now, were you ever going to drive a Range Rover? Yes.
No.
Maybe there's a possibility of it.
There's a possibility. Yes.
Exactly.
But not yes.
Yes. Now, let me tell you what happens. It happens everywhere. You understand? There's this belief before that anything that happens, as a Christian, I was a Christian, everything that happens to you is God. If bad happens to you, you know, we had a binary idea of what life was. Good is God, bad is Satan. You understand? So, because it was a difficult time, you know how living religion and being an atheist. But I realize that I've come to the realization. Let me just say that I'm here now. Everything has been shredded. So how do you move now as an atheist? Now, I'll tell you for a fact, I made more money, progressed more since I left religion. I'm not going to say it's because I left religion. That would be a stupid thing to say because there are religious people that are wealthy, even more wealthy than all of us that are atheists. You see? So there are also broke people at both sides. Rich people are on both sides. Now, there are also Hindu people. There are also Muslims. There are also people who do ritual. So can't you see that good and bad happens everywhere? But you have to decide what you want to give credit to. Now, since I
Hold
left,
on.
let me finish.
No, we'll come to that.
Let me finish.
We'll come to that. When did you become an atheist?
Since 2015, fully, I had to accept the identity, but it was way before then. 3 years before then, I was already on my journey, agnostic, free thinking for 3 years. And then I came, 2015 was when I said, okay, I know what I am now. It's because it's very difficult back then. It's not like now that somebody will do a miracle on social media now. We artists will go there and see how Nigerians are like, this thing are fake. You understand? Now people now understand. And that was what we were moving towards.
How did you
we
become
failed.
an atheist?
How I became an atheist? Because I was defending religion myself. I was a fanatic. I was religiously fanatic.
What happened?
So what happened is, I just kind of saw these people online. You understand? So yeah, atheists were online and we were always arguing. You see, I was always agitated. Now there was something that happened, and whenever I tell people, I've seen it happen around myself too, people, and I'm like, okay, I was there before. I've wished people death. They were, if you don't believe in God, you should die. People still feel, that's how fanatic religion makes you look. But I know people are more free now. So we were going through that argument, and then they started pointing me to things, because you want to go there and then, challenge them, and then you see that they have a point here. And then the other places too, you build your challenge and you come, and then they have another point, and then you realize this is not actually people trying to kind of make you leave religion. Like what I tell people, no. If I'm going to get married, I'm going to marry a very religious person, because I know I will explain that when we get there. So that was just how we went through, and then I started researching. And
then Jacob.
then from there, I started researching. I've read a whole lot.
The acclaimed atheist that bears Christian names.
The name is given, everything we have it's an identity that is being given to us. You understand?
So I think if you were serious about your atheism, first is you would have picked a name that has no connection to what you believe.
Okay, that's why I say, sometimes there's something that used to happen to me. Sometimes I would just post something from the Bible. My friends will be so excited. They will start calling me. They will start texting me. Hey, I'll tell them, chill. Why do you think I cannot sing Christian music, or I cannot quote something from them? Everywhere there is wisdom, I can pick that up. You understand? So I don't need to. I'm not fighting the system. My name is already my name. I've come to the reality that all of these things is what we live through. You understand? What I mean is, you cannot take away. That's why I said it's a routine. If you take yourself out of that routine,
can we say that you're a man that's been deceived?
No. If you take yourself, if you take yourself away from that routine, you would suffer. Because at the end of the day, I also realize that the Christian people, they are very loving as well. Everybody knows. At the time, people got to when I was an atheist, I felt like I was going to be attacked. But everybody just kind of, that's who he is. They get close to me, they understand that it's not even a dangerous. It's not like, because first of all, you're thinking this is a dangerous person. They are leaking, they are sucking blood, they go and wear garment. No, none of. So once they get close, they realize that, none of all these things. So everybody gets along at the end of the day. So I'm part of society. We are all part of society. Everyday people. We are everyday people. But it's just that we do not believe. It's like when people come to me and I tell them, don't waste your time. Don't give me your pamphlet. Don't waste it. Don't waste your time trying to preach to me. I might get you offended.
What books did you read that confused you?
There's a book called Sapiens by Yuval Harari. He's an Israeli. Exactly. So those are not books that convince you. They are books that, it's like if you're looking for something, you would find it. As a developer, my Oga Jude is here. That's one thing we always do. If you want to build anything, you can build it. You just need to find it. It's always there. You understand? Anything you want to validate.
And who do you think kept it there?
It's humans. Everything here is done by humans.
Do you know Newton's first law of motion?
Remind me. I've forgotten a whole lot of things. I'll tell you. I've read. If I show you my library from my soft copies to hard copies. But everyday coding, I don't.
Okay,
have
so
to. So remind me.
one of the Newton laws says that a body would continue on a steady line of motion until it is altered by an external force. So that alone explains God and creation. It means that as you are seated here,
Yeah.
you will be seated here until you either decide to go out
Yeah.
or something decide to take you out.
Yeah.
When something decide to take you out, that's an external force.
Yes.
So if you throw a ball, the ball will keep rolling and rolling and rolling. It's either the ball gets into a different part that will make it deter or something. That different part is what we call life. And life happens because of that external force. That external force is the impact and effect of God. So I was telling you off camera.
I want to ask you,
yes.
where is this God?
Yes, let me tell. I'll explain to you. I was telling you off camera that I am not a Christian because I was born into a Christian home. I am not a Christian because I go to church. I'm not a religious person. I'm not. But I'm a very spiritual person. I don't believe in religion. I believe in spirituality.
Okay.
So I have been in situations where, and this was years ago. So I was to hold a program. It was a film program, and the gen got bad. Couldn't see a generator. I went. My spirit just told me, go there and pray for the gen. I'm not a pastor. I hate it when people call me that.
Yeah.
So I just went there and I said, Jen, in the name of Jesus, walk. I left and I told someone, go and turn it on. They turned on the gen. We used it for the 3 hours program. After the program, when they turned it off, the gen didn't come up again. I have lost my wallet on 3 occasions. 3 is not one that someone will say is an accident. I'm speaking on camera and this is global. I've lost my wallet on 3 occasions. My wallet usually would have my complimentary card that has my number. I lost my wallet on 3 occasions, and on those 3 occasions, I said, God, please let someone pick up my wallet, take out my card and call me to come and pick my wallet, and let everything in the wallet be intact. On those 3 occasions, it happened like that. I picked it up. I called on a God. So it is not by what I have read. It is by what I have experienced and what I have felt. So I would not come to say that there is no God because I have read it somewhere and one person who has never encountered it or encountered God would want to convince. No, possibly you were in religion. That's why you were never spiritual to understand that these things are spiritual things. And you have to be personally connected, not through what you read, but through your connection with the superior being. So everyone have a superior being, or some people have superior beings that they believe. But I believe in the superior being of God through Christ Jesus. And I have seen him walk and walk and walk. There was a time when I did a test on my kidney, and they said my kidney had lots of protein. I did lots of tests. I just went back home and I prayed and I went back to do the test. Today, my kidney I do kidney tests almost 3 or 4 times a year. My kidney is amazing. So it is about you believing and then you walking through it. It is not about you being confused and reading things. The truth is, the world is an intellectual space. And if you read the Bible as a literature, you are bound to be 1,000 times confused. Because the story you read in one person's narrative is different from the story you read in another person's narrative. Because you are reading it as a literature, you will feel that they are contradictory. But if you are reading it as a spiritual person, the spirit that is behind it would explain to you how these things were to be. And that's why I'm a Christian.
I appreciate, you see, your story, it's one that I appreciate a lot. You know why I appreciate it? Because I like when Christianity, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam.
Mine is Christianity.
Oh, I have respect for every religion.
Yeah.
I like when there is validation for a belief system, so it keeps going.
And it's practical. It's traceable. I can
Yes,
tell you to the hospital where I did it.
No, I'm not doubting it. I'm saying what I'm saying from my own side. What I'm saying is, I like it when things like this happen, so it can keep driving. Understand my point? It can keep driving the systems, because at the end of the day, we need these systems to keep going. Now, this is your story. Perfect. It points to a higher being.
Which you don't believe in.
Yes, but it points to it. I must recognize and acknowledge that your experience points to it. There is nothing that you've explained here that does not point to a connection to something. But that's one case. Now, that's why, how do we put it? By approximation now. What makes me think this does not work is because when you look at the broader picture now, you understand, which is where we will look at is the World War. You understand? Let's not go for the Biafran War. 2 million people died. A lot of people were praying to God. Nothing happened. Every day people. This country is a country that prays to God, yet there is high rate of kidnapping, poverty, crime. You understand? So I am not saying this it points to that. But at the end of the day, because sometimes when you look at it, it's as if God enjoys these things.
Now, let me also explain something. Religion makes people think about God in the way you said it. God is good, devil is bad. God is white, devil is black.
Black man. They used to, that time we were small, they used to paint him as a black man.
Yes,
even now. Then Jesus is a white man.
Yeah, even now. So that is what religion does. And unfortunately,
okay, if I now understand you.
Let me explain. Unfortunately, you fell into religion and not into Christianity. Christianity is spirit driven.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish. Is Amado spiritually driven?
Yes, Amado is spiritual.
So now can you now say that the African tradition is spiritually driven?
Yes.
So you don't think there is anything evil about it?
There may be some things that are anti-human, or what we would say
in Christianity as well, from where Christianity came from, how it came. Is there no anti-human?
Okay. Now, currently...
So if Christianity evolved, that means God evolved.
No, this is what happens in human things. So this is what happens in human evolution.
But let me just answer yes or no. If Christianity evolved, did God evolve?
No, let me explain. So have you read the UN Charter?
No.
The UN Charter was collected from the Bible principles.
Yeah.
The UN Charter. And what does the UN Charter stand for? Human rights. Now, before the UN Charter came, a lot of monarchies, because of how Christianity was moving, adopted it as a means of control. They were not Christians. They were religious people like you were. But they saw a
monotheist or polytheists.
Wait. Because they saw a tool that they could use to control people, they took charge of it.
Which is religion.
Yes, and they now used it. Unfortunately, you happen to be among the people that fell into religion. And when...
I did not fall into religion. We were all born. Okay,
sorry, I'm explaining. So when you now realize that, oh, this thing I am into, this one does not connect to this. This does not connect to this. This does not connect to this. Then it is not true. That's when you now started saying... Hold on. That's when you now started saying, I think this thing is not real. I think this thing is not true. But the truth is, you did not dig yourself and dip yourself in Christ. If you dig yourself and dip yourself in Christ, like I usually tell people, as I said, I'm not a religious person. I usually tell people, if Jesus lived in our time, people would do the same thing they did to him then. Jesus was ruling with the least likely of the people.
Do you know I like the character of Jesus?
Jesus was ruling with the least likely of the people.
Yes.
Jesus was a controversial figure.
Yes.
Yet
that is just like us. Do you know I see myself as Jesus?
Hold on. Yet he was the most spiritual and he believed in God. You can't see yourself as Jesus when you don't believe in God. Jesus said, Father, let your will be done. He believed in his Father, who is God. in heaven. Let your will be done, not mine. So, which means that he believed in the existence of God. You may like the lifestyle of Jesus that he lived in the earth, but you are not like Jesus.
I don't have to be
for
like,
the
I'm not
fact
Jesus,
that
I'm not going to be
for
like
the
that.
fact that you have already denied the
I
existence
did not
of
deny
God.
anything. No, I did not deny anything.
Okay, you have refused the existence of God,
Okay.
his Father. So
When you finish, I will explain something. I will now explain something.
You cannot refuse the existence of God the Father and now want to say that you are like God the Son.
Okay.
You see the contradiction.
So now, I think this is where I want to clear everything now. God, Jesus, blah blah blah, atheism. You know, I'm an African. You understand? More of the reason why I boldly now denounced Christianity. I denounced Christianity. You understand?
I think we're getting to the point. You didn't denounce God, you denounced Christianity.
First,
So you are not an atheist.
African. That's what I'm telling you.
So you are not an atheist. Let us get that point. You are just
You're defining me. You're not allowing me to define myself.
Okay.
I'm not in a box. You understand? I'm not in a box. First, I'm an atheist. I understand that there is no God, there is no Satan. But
you have not been able to prove to us.
okay, but let me explain. Let me summarize this part now that you just said. You see, first of all, why I denounced and I said I don't think anybody should do it. I'm not encouraging it. Is the fact that please let me finish and lead to the end. Now, as an African, we were spiritual people. Africans were very spiritual people. We believed in. We did even till now. We do our New Yam festival. Our people just finished their Egwoba where they celebrate the God that helps. We had God of rain that helps people when we are farming. Africans were polytheists. We believed in different types of gods. You understand? There is even in the Yoruba land. Yeah. So
almost every culture, they were all polytheists.
Yeah. So when Christianity came to Africa, you understand? When Christianity came to Africa, it was used to exploit the black man. First of all, the black man had a lot of resources. So when Christianity came, the first ship that came to Africa to carry slaves was actually given by Elizabeth. The ship's name is Jesus. That's what they wrote it. So what I'm trying to say is Christianity was brought in. When I read Olaudah Equiano's Travel, I realized that Christianity was actually brought in to exploit the black man. Now, the only time the slaves felt like they were appreciated was, oh, you're going to go to heaven. And we've seen this description. It is now that everybody has been clear. The black man is Satan. Satan is described as a black man with a horn. Jesus is a white man. Actually, the actual Jesus was not even born anywhere Caucasian. He's not even a Caucasian. So why is he now suddenly a Caucasian? He's from Arabia. So, a Jew. So when I looked at the way Africans were exploited, carried as slaves down to the Americas, the African slaves built the America you see today. And all of those exploitation, they carried our arts. Look at arts like this now in Europe. If you want to see them, you go and pay. Whereas, plus all the revolution, King Leopold murdered over 2 million Congolese. Cutting, they exploited us, and then they demonized our fathers' traditions. You see, Africans are the only people that do not have identity. If you go to India, Indians hold their identity. No matter what you want to do, they are in Hindu, they are Hindu. The Chinese, the same thing. Africans, we don't have an identity. You will see an African, will see another African be doing, oh, you can't even make a simple sentence. Chinese people don't bother about all those things. It is us that, oh, we want to be so English. We want to be so Christian. We are defending all these things that slavery brought. Slavery that was used to oppress the black man came with Christianity. They came from this side and Islam came from the other side. If you look at a mullah now, a Muslim now, they are defending it as if it was. Let me finish. Let me just finish. Wait. So let me just finish. I will summarize. So when I look through all of these things, I be like, it is an insult. I'm talking from my own perspective. I'm not going to judge. It is an insult because they said 2 million people drowned from that over how many years that people were being transported from Africa to everywhere. The pictures of how African black people were so humiliated. If you hear the stories, Let me not even give graphics, but just go and read the stories.
I am a historian.
And
I
good,
know
you now, you're a
everything
historian.
you
People
have
watching now, they don't understand that back then people will gather a man and his family, a black man and his family, and a man will stand like this, and somebody will come and prize your son and take him. Somebody will prize your wife and take her. Do you know how humiliating and emotionally traumatic that type of thing is? That is what happened in our country. We will catch them. I visited I used to go to Chaliwote in Ghana. That's why it's cool.
And that's why you are an atheist.
It's all comprised of what made me an atheist. Back then, there is a place I visited in Ghana, because when they are doing Chaliwote, they will open the slave port. The door of no return have been there, have been to the female side of the prison. When you enter that prison, it's just a small space with one tiny hole. That's where they pack. A place that can take only 100 people, they pack 300 Africans inside there, naked. There's one edition of Chaliwote, because once you're entering the female prison, now if you go to the male, there's a little touchy something you just feel. Then once you're entering the female, I mean, when we were walking through the female prison, a girl behind me broke down and was crying, because first of all, they are dramatizing, because Chaliwote is one of the biggest street art festival. They were dramatizing, and there are always people. Why I love Ghana, Nigeria needs to learn how to do this stuff. There is somebody describing what happened, the events that happened in this place. Pregnant women being put in prison, African women naked, because they don't put in this type of prison, this type of place, and then the next morning they are shipping them. As they are shipping them, if there is turbulence on that ship, there's too much load, guess who they are going to throw overboard? The black man.
Okay, see, I understand history. I know all of this history.
You understand
I know,
history. Good.
yes.
I know you know these things.
I know all of this, but that's not the bone of the conversation. The bone and the crux of the conversation is atheism, conversation with an atheist. Another time, another day, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, because I have a different opinion to all of this. And one of my strongest view is an outsider cannot come to your house and take your people without you conniving with the outsider. It's never possible.
Yeah,
Hold on, I'm just trying to close this conversation. It is Africans. It is
I enabled it.
that sold Africans
I get that part.
to these people. It is Africans that supported these people to carry Africans. It is Africans that gave them food and sold food for them when they had to go back. So everything was facilitated also by Africans. So I cannot sit back here and now forget about the roles that Africans played in the slave trade of fellow Africans. Cyprian Jacob,
Yeah.
what have been the challenges of being an atheist? And have you been discriminated against before? Have you lost jobs because of your stand in your belief that there is no God? What are the challenges?
Yeah, the challenges is one of the reasons why I don't speak so openly about it, because the first time, you might just visit somebody, because the idea before, people used to just think like these people are devil worshippers, whereas you don't actually believe in Satan as well. So people kind of, sometimes I will observe how you go somewhere, you buy a drink, everybody's scared of touching it. Yeah, my friends always just,
So you are sometimes isolated.
yes, before I came openly, I knew that isolation was going to be the thing, but you know that was the greatest challenge I faced. People just kind of isolate, but when you talk, you understand. Sometimes people ask me, and they're like, this guy is making sense, you understand, but at the end of the day, you know so there was that thing, everybody. But over time, it's like people were waiting for you to do something, so they will validate. This guy is angry. Why is this guy? Okay, one day let's see him kill somebody, and then they see that, oh, you're just living your life, and then people started, and then my focus as well changed. It stopped being so much. I just started doing my stuff.
So have you
posting
lost
up.
jobs because you don't believe
No,
in
no,
God?
no, no. I don't. I've never.
So you've never lost. So nobody has refused giving you a job just because you don't believe in
No,
God.
no. Because the thing is, when people talk, when we get to talk and they realize, oh, this person can do what I want, you get, it's cool, we
So,
can get.
which means that the stigmatization you face is mostly around your peers that understand these things
Yes.
and the things you say.
Yeah, over time, people around me too, they've all loosened up. Everybody now is cool with me. They've even, most times people have forgotten that nobody even know, if not,
Or they see you as a confused guy.
no, nobody sees me as a confused guy. It's just like,
Because actually, that's how I see it.
no, I'm very aware of myself. I'm one of the most aware people that you've ever seen.
No, the confused I mean is you allowed circumstances and
No,
people you don't have control over, and the
that's-
actions of things that happened even before you were born to determine
Nah.
your belief.
This is just your theory. That's not the reality. That's not the reality. I know everything. I don't do anything irrationally. No. That's why I told you it took me 3 years. And for me to even come open, I knew that this thing is going to be, people are going to be against me. You understand? That's that thing I said. It relates to how Jesus lived his life. Them, everything. And then everybody fall in line. So what happened is, when we all, it was like we were trying to get people to understand these things. You get, and then we lost the fight. The atheist community that time, we lost the fight. Everybody went with their life, and then all of a sudden we realized that Nigerians are now started to be aware of things. Somebody will post something, and Nigerians started to just see fake for what fake is. All those miracles you saw, that woman will fold her hand and do it. I was like, nature will always, the truth is, nature will always solve its own problem. You understand? You know, it's not as if I'm deviating. It's like sometimes when we talk about people that fought for the what's it called, the freedom of African, independence, we finally realized that nobody actually fought for anything. It was all those people fought, they got murdered, assassinated, but over time, those white people gave in. The oppressors gave in. You understand? When they realized they were themselves, they left. There was no battle. We wouldn't have won. Shaka Zulu fought. Everybody was losing. But when the time for freedom reached, everything will take care of itself. Even I feel like Nigeria will pass through the same thing.
I think this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I think you are more of a historian that is angry of the things that have happened to Africans. However, you are channeling it through the religious organizations, and you are saying, I cannot be part of an organization that was part of these things that happened. And you are observing
But I'm not angry.
Africans. No, you're not angry. And you are observing Africans in the role they play. So from me to you, I'm telling you first, that is not fair thinking, and that is not fair action, both to you and to everyone involved. Because if my grandfather was involved in and colluding with white people to sell slaves, why would I only now be talking to white people and not what my father did?
Yeah, but let's also take into consideration, because I wanted to clear this thing. Slavery then was very popular. It was happening everywhere. Even Africans were doing it, or it wasn't the way, the colonizer. That's why Jaja Popo had issues with them. When Jaja finally realized how the people he was giving the white men to were being treated, that was where he started having issues with them.
You are
because
a
to
historian.
him,
What is your passing shot?
my passing shot.
Your passing shot.
My passing shot
we're about to close.
Yeah. My passing shot is tolerate people. Read. If you do not want to read, ignorance is bliss. Stay where you are. You don't have to. Nobody should. Don't learn anything you don't want to learn. If you want to be lazy, because this world is like what I tell my friends is, if all of us they hustle, who will come? You understand? If you want to be lazy, in short, be lazy. I wish Nigeria used to pay people like welfare the way they pay other people, so that people that don't want to hustle and just relax every month you receive government welfare and leave should be there. Make people wey wan hustle. So I feel like don't learn what you don't want to learn is not something. I don't encourage anybody to do anything, but the most important thing is we must tolerate everybody. We must understand that the most important thing is whatever does not harm your finance, your education, your life, it is not a direct threat to you. It's not something that you should be bothered about. Just accept it. It's a way of life. Okay, this is what I believe in. Oh, fine. You understand? You can have conversations. Conversations is not for me to convert you or you to agree. It's for us to understand that, and respect each other and know that, oh, this person is an atheist, this person is a Muslim. I lived with even as a Christian, my roommate then was a Muslim. You understand? We were very close because he taught me a lot. Because back then when we saw the clips of Boko Haram, I was very angry. I was like, oh, this is the face of Islam. Then Muhammad called me, he said, no, that's not the face of Islam. They are misinterpreting the prophet. I was like, okay, clear me. So he used to teach me. I'm always teachable. So he used to teach me, and I was like, oh, then me too. Back then he used to follow me to the church. And then when they come and meet him and be like, oh, hope we'll see you next time. I'm like, no, don't bother, he's a Muslim. And then I followed him to the mosque. Sometimes if he's praying, I will stay with him. I'll be like, okay, what do I do? He leads the prayer. I was still a Christian then. So I already knew he was my best friend, one of my bestest friends. So that's it. Tolerance is the thing. You don't have to be a fanatic. It's fanaticism that is disturbing our country today. Oh, it's my way or the only way, what I believe in. You understand? And back then when we were in school, is what is like happening on social media. I see that people see criticism as attack. You understand? Back then when we were in school, somebody might say, X plus this is like this. I'll say no. We'll gather ourselves and then we'll research. Today you will be right. Tomorrow you will be wrong. Next tomorrow you'll be wrong. The day next you are right. For 1 week you might be right. So this helped us to be very research driven. You understand? Because you don't want to be right. And we always accept, okay, this algorithm is wrong. No, that's not how it's done. This is how it's done. X is 5. Oh, X is 5. Okay, so how did you do it? But I don't see that happening in social media today. When somebody is a celebrity, if they say something, it's yes. Once you come and say, no, that thing is not right. I'm seeing, you hater, who are you? Do you have 200,000 followers?
Thank you very much.
You understand? There's so much. You know what I call it?
I
call it idol worship.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you at the PowerCast. So we have one message for you, and that is the message of inclusivity.
Yeah.
Accept everybody. Just know what you believe in. Like our guest, I'm not sure he's an atheist, but I'm just sure that he has a problem that's happening in religion. But I'm not sure he's an atheist because he wasn't able to convince me. But the thing is, he's a friend. Just accept everybody. There's no need stigmatizing people because of what they believe.
Exactly.
Because in this life, you don't know who would be close to you. Have a great time, and I'm sure you enjoyed this episode of the PowerCast.